But we begin this morning with the growing pine beetle infestation. It is spreading on Long Island, and it's now threatening the precious pine barrens that protect the sole source of our underground drinking water. TV 1055's Carolyn Gussoff has the latest.
Golfers at Bethpage State Park have more than greens on their minds. They're worried about trees.
We lost a lot of trees in a lot of storms. To lose more by an insect is very bad.
One single tree found infested with the destructive southern pine beetle. It's the first confirmed case in Nassau, but where there's one,
it means that it's island-wide, which we knew it would be.
State Department of Environmental Conservation foresters in a race to contain the spread of the tree-ravaging insects, which mysteriously moved north from New Jersey and made the first appearance in Suffolk County last fall. 3,000 Long Island trees already chopped down across Suffolk's South Shore.
That tree right there.
Today, mapping the infestation began in the north in Rocky Point. A dozen expert foresters arrived from as far away as Canada to survey and help educate the public.
Just try to help people identify this little beetle because there's all kinds of insects in the woods.
But environmentalists worry about the pace. The pine barrens protect Long Island's drinking water supply. Is enough being done?
Well, they're doing the right thing, but they're doing it in tiny increments. At this rate, we'll have lost it before we've even begun the fight.
Others say the effort is understaffed and underfunded and needs to expand into private land.
We're probably looking at the need for millions of dollars.
Some state lawmakers are considering legislation for a more comprehensive plan of attack, including money to help homeowners take down infested trees before this becomes a situation of too little too late.
And joining us now is Dick Amper from the Long Island Pine Barren Society, and welcome to the show, Mr. Amper.
Good to be here.
First off, explain what's at stake here for the pine barrens and why this little insect is such a threat, possibly even to our drinking water.
Well, it's absolutely the case. The pine barrens is our premier ecosystem. We have 100,000 acres of these pitch pines and scrub oaks. These beetles love these trees. They can attack a 50-foot tall pitch pine and destroy it in 2 months, and they cannot eradicate this insect. So they have to manage for it. They have to cut down trees that are affected. The New Jersey pinelands, a little bit to our south, lost a total of 30,000 acres, 14,000 in a single year. We only have 100,000. They have 1 million. We can't afford to make that kind of loss. So we got to get up to speed and get a program to manage them. Can't get rid of them, but you can manage them if you do it right.
We've already lost a lot of trees.
We have. We've already lost about 3,000 trees, and this is not confined anymore to the pine barrens. As you know, the pine barrens sits atop the greatest quantities of the purest drinking water left on Long Island, and water quality is a problem there. But the fact of the matter is, we know what to do. We just so far have not seen the resources.
Yeah, and we're talking about, in this case, you know, state-managed lands, locally managed lands, but the insect has no borders. It's going on to private property.
Nassau,
what a homeowner supposed to do?
From Great Neck to Montauk.
Yeah, so it's all over the island. What's a homeowner supposed to do to try to help out here?
That's a problem with homeowners. We've got this very serious problem there. We've got very significant challenge in front of us, but more especially the cost of maintaining a program to control these critters is about $3 million, literally a drop in the bucket if we're talking about protecting water. So I just think that the state and the federal government have to make an immediate commitment, because this thing that gets knocked down, when they didn't do it in New Jersey, they lost more than we can afford to lose.
Well, do we have the resources for that? You say $3 million. Have we got the $3 million? What's being spent so far?
The answer is they have spent only, or committed only $250,000, but it wouldn't cost very much. $3 million they spend on postage stamps in a month. This is something that the public invested $1 billion to buy up and protect, and to let the critters take them out without an aggressive program would be just tragic.
You're talking about the quarter-cent sales tax there that's been set aside for decades.
And the Environmental Protection Fund. There is federal, state, and county money available, and it would be a tragedy to lose this forest.
So meanwhile, we got to assume that these are showing up on homeowners' properties as well, which is the vast majority of land on Long Island. And it's a major expense for the homeowner to deal with, too, is it not?
We need to have a program where we're working at the federal, state, county, and town level, and we're using government resources to address a problem that's affecting the entire population. It's not just the tree on that guy's yard. It's what happens if that tree on that guy's yard infests other trees and parks and forests until there's nothing to be done about it.
And you know, these are beautiful trees in many cases that are being cut down, and people are heartbroken over it. Is that the only solution, to cut down these trees?
So far, that is the principal solution. You cut them down. We think down the road you can check and follow the pheromones that these critters are attracted to, see where they're going, and cut them off beforehand. They're out thinning the forest because they like large clumps of trees. We understand what to do about it. We just haven't seen the commitment of money.
Do we know where they came from? I mean, how did they get here?
They came from the south, and as global warming proceeded north, for those who are still doubting that this is happening, they didn't get on a bus and come up the thruway. They've moved their way north. They afflicted or infected the New Jersey pinelands 10 years ago. They have now been discovered for the first time in Connecticut. They're southern beetles, and they like the warmer weather.
So, and you know, we have just a few seconds left here, but in the next segment, we're going to talk about another environmental threat, the brown tide and the massive fish die-off.
Unbelievable.
Just being that you care about that issue, too, and you're here. What do you think
Bad time for the environment.
Yeah, what's causing that? We saw this huge fish die-off along in Riverhead area, Peconic Bay.
It's nitrogen from wastewater and fertilizer. We know what's causing it. We live and walk and function above our water. That water is getting nitrogen in it. That is causing algae blooms and fish kills.
Look at that.
This
Have we ever seen anything like that here?
We've never seen anything like it. It is the canary in the in the coal mine.
Yeah.
It is telling us that it is not just inconvenient, it's not just threatening our waters, it's killing them, depleting oxygen and killing them.
Well, I've never seen anything like that, but we've already seen some reaction from folks saying, hey, this is seasonal, it's temperatures, this is an alarmist attitude.
Very ill-informed. Everybody understands the problem. Even our government officials at the federal, state, county, and town level all acknowledge, we know from science, this is nitrogen. It creates algae. The algae takes the toll on the waters. The fish are dying. We're off 93% in clam production just in the last quarter century. Our eelgrasses and marsh grasses, they're gone by 90%. And yet people are looking at closed beaches and closed shellfish beds. We can't be in denial anymore.
Not the Long Island we've known. Oh, well, Dick Amper from the Long Island Pine Barrens Society weighing in on the pine beetle threat and also this brown tide and the growing nitrogen threat that may have led to a massive fish die-off. Everyone in shock over that. Thank you for joining us today and explaining what's going on.